Hey guys, welcome back to Will Code for Food. I'm Jake the Recruiter. Today I'm going to talk about an issue that a lot of people have trouble with, and that is the in-person interview. So I'm going to do a few different videos covering some of the basics that you should be paying attention to, and also some of the things that you may not know about conversational cues and body language and that sort of thing. A lot of this advice may seem like common sense. It may seem kind of old hat. This is literally based on the most common reasons that I get for hiring managers or interviewers declining somebody after an interview. I have stories related to each and every one of the pieces of advice that I'm going to give. So by all means, if something that I'm telling you either doesn't make sense or you disagree with it, do you. I'm just saying that there's a lot of subjectivity to the interview process. Different managers are going to notice different things. So the advice that I give you is based on, the maximum positive response from the maximum number of people. So you're not always going to have any sort of a relationship with the hiring manager that you're going to interview with. Typically, you have no impression of them whatsoever other than maybe a short phone call, maybe some sort of information that's been given to you from a recruiter. Maybe you have a LinkedIn profile, but you're going to go in there kind of blind. So you want to go in and give the best impression possible based on, erring on the side of caution in every area that you possibly can. So that said, let's just kind of jump into it. So the first thing that I want to bring up is that subjectivity piece. Different things are important to different people. What really bothers you about a candidate or certain managers may not be an area of concern for somebody else whatsoever. So kind of keep that in mind when you're going through the process, and don't take risks. Err a little bit more conservatively in the way that you present yourself, the questions you ask, the way you talk to people, the way you deal with people. And you'll significantly reduce the risk that you alienate somebody or leave a bad impression, that sort of thing. So next is your mindset before the interview is one of the things that I see a lot of people kind of get wrong. So don't go into the interview with the idea that this is somehow a test, that it's an interrogation, that it's you're going to this interview to prove yourself worthy for this job. Okay. Your nerves and for your relaxation's sake, start out from a place of sort of mutual respect between you and your interviewer. Okay, put it in your head that your time is just as valuable as theirs. Okay, you're taking your time to interview and prepare for this interview. Okay, you're having a conversation with someone to discover if what they're offering is going to meet what you need, and vice versa. Okay, so it's a conversation where two people are discovering whether or not there's an alignment. Maybe there will be and maybe there won't. You really hope it's worth your time, okay? But don't go in there with the mindset that it's like, you're going to the trial by fire, where it's like, okay, I'm going to get asked a lot of questions and I'm going to have to be playing defense the whole time, because what it does is it makes you really nervous. It makes you feel like you need to prove yourself more than you probably do. It's just generally a bad way to go about it. Okay, so kind of like think about those things and go into this interview with the sense that this is going to be one interview of many that you're going to go on in your professional career. The outcome of this interview is not going to determine the rest of your life. Okay, it's like, don't make a bigger deal out of it than it is, and a lot of this stuff kind of takes care of itself. The next thing is punctuality. So yes, be early for your interview. How early? I like 5 to 10 minutes. I think any more than 10 minutes and you sort of risk the person being like, this person's maybe a little too eager, maybe they're trying a little too hard, this kind of thing. I've had people show up like 20 minutes early for an interview. Most interviewers are pretty busy people. They have this time specifically blocked out, and if you show up 20 minutes early, then they're sort of thinking to themselves like that they have to rush into the interview. It kind of inconveniences them, and it's not a good look. All right, so plan to overcompensate for how early you're arriving. Okay, leave a good 15 or 20 minute cushion depending on how long that drive is. If you're driving 2 hours potentially for an interview because you plan on relocating for the position, then leave a half hour cushion. If you get there early, grab a cup of coffee somewhere, just like post up somewhere and wait that 20 minutes so that you're still arriving between 5 and 10 minutes early. But it's just that's the best way to possibly do it, where it's low risk and you're also arriving early enough to get in, get comfortable, find the room, so that when the interview time starts, you're ready to go, without showing up so early that it seems like you're a tryhard. So that's my take on it. Hygiene. I really, really shouldn't have to bring this up, but I've had people specifically declined because they didn't pay attention to basic personal hygiene. So imagine this, like you're interviewing candidates for a position and somebody comes in and they reek of BO, or they're messy, or they didn't even take care of their facial hair, whatever it is. So the problem is that the interview is supposed to be like the maximum level of presentation that somebody brings to the table. So it's like, if they can't do this stuff for an interview, then how bad is it going to be when that person actually starts working there? It's major. Okay, so really basic stuff. Yes, shower. Make sure that your hair and your facial hair are in good shape prior to an interview. If you're wearing perfume or cologne, it should be kept to an appropriate minimum. Pay attention to your nails. Okay, if you got crap under your nails, or they're trim them. Like, just basic stuff, guys. But like, I've literally seen a lot of people decline for this specific reason. Another note on presentation: if you have facial piercings, whatever the case may be, remove them if you can. It will increase your chances. The exception obviously being ears for women. It's just something that I have seen it cost people jobs. If you're like, well, if they can't accept that, then I don't want to work for them anyways. You do you. It's entirely up to you. Clothing, for whatever reason, I get a lot of pushback on this, but my opinion is business professional, every interview, every time. No exceptions. So this goes for both men and women. So if for women, there's only so much advice I can give. I know nothing about women's clothing, but I can also look easily at a picture of pictures of five female candidates and say, these are appropriate and these are not. Just err on the side of dressing more conservatively. For men, again, I got a lot of disagreement with this, but my personal take: go in a suit and nothing less. And I'm talking a suit with a jacket, matching pants, a tie, dress shoes. For whatever reason, a lot of people are like, oh, that's bullshit. I can go in slacks and a button-down shirt and I'm totally fine. Probably, maybe, I don't know. But what I'm saying is that when somebody shows up in a suit, it shows a level of seriousness. It shows a level of commitment. I've never seen it looked upon unfavorably by any manager. What I have seen is 5 candidates come in for the same job, and 3 of them are in suits and 2 of them aren't, and it comes up. Like, you're being compared relative to the field of candidates that they're looking at, okay? So by all means, if you just disagree with it and you want to dig your heels in and not wear a suit, it may not affect you at all. It may not affect your chances, but what I'm saying is the advice that I give is for, the maximum positive response for the maximum number of people. And if you want to, go low risk and you want to make sure that you're giving the best possible impression to the most people, wear a suit. It's that simple. If you don't have a suit, go and buy one. You can get a decent suit for like $100. If you can't find $100 to invest in, the future of your career, I don't know what to tell you. Like, borrow the money or whatever. Like, just go in a suit, okay? Like, don't fight me on this. If you really don't want to, like, by all means, but just know that it will cost you a job sooner or later. That's just what I've seen. It's an observable fact based on what I've dealt with. So I'm going to end this video there. We're going to continue basics in the next video. But if you disagree with anything I said, you have more questions, feel free to ask those in the comments down below. And by all means, use whatever you like and leave the rest. So either way, like, subscribe, please, if you got something out of this or you're interested in having more conversation on this. I appreciate you stopping by, guys. Have a good one.